Welcome to this explainer on the swordsman's secret, from ancient focus to modern mastery. So, have you noticed how literally exhausting it is just trying to pay attention these days? I mean, we're living in this era where every single app, notification, and headline is actively fighting a war for our focus. It feels like we're constantly on the defensive, just mentally drained by this endless barrage of digital noise. Well, today, we're exploring a really fascinating paradox derived directly from the teachings of Sphatika.Cloud. We're going to uncover how an ancient swordsman's incredibly frustrating, deeply mundane journey actually reveals the exact blueprint for surviving and truly thriving in today's hyper-distracted world. Because it turns out, mastering our modern minds is actually intrinsically linked to this ancient discipline.
Now take a look at this quote. A well-lived life entails embracing boredom. That is a pretty provocative statement from Darkhan Sundarajan, the founder of Sphatika.Cloud, and it basically challenges almost everything about our modern lifestyle. Let's be real for a second. The very idea of boredom absolutely terrifies us today. Think about it. What's the first thing you do the millisecond the elevator doors close and you're left all alone with your thoughts? You reach for your phone, right? We are so deeply conditioned to be constantly entertained that actively embracing the mundane sounds completely backward. Why would intentionally sitting with boredom be the ultimate key to mastering our minds? Well, to understand the profound psychology behind this, we have to look way, way back into the past.
Section 1. The Swordsman's Quest, a seeker named Jignasu. To really wrap our heads around the power of this philosophy, we're traveling back centuries, long before the constant hum of modern technology. The sources introduce us to this young guy named Jignasu, and he wasn't just casually interested in martial arts. He was a seeker, absolutely consumed by one desperate yearning. He wanted to become a master swordsman. Driven by this obsession, Jignasu traveled from village to village, practically begging the most revered grandmasters to train him. And everywhere he went, brutal rejection. Master after master turned him away. But finally, just when he was at the absolute edge of his hope, he found Grandmaster Chinmaya. The Grandmaster looked at this eager kid and actually agreed to take him on as a student. But there was a catch. It came with one strict, totally non-negotiable condition. Jignasu was absolutely not allowed to question the master's methods.
Section 2. Embracing the boring. Years of chores.
So Jignasu is thrilled, right? He eagerly agrees to the condition, gets formally inducted into the school, and his head is undoubtedly filled with these heroic visions of clashing steel. But then, reality hits him like a brick wall. Year 1, there are no swords. Jignasu is handed a broom and assigned nothing but agonizingly boring chores. He's sweeping courtyards, scrubbing floors, fetching water, day in, day out. Imagine the psychological toll. He's quietly doing the dishes while listening to the exciting clash of wooden practice swords from the other students outside. Then year 2 rolls around. Still, zero combat training, just the painfully slow rhythm of sweeping and scrubbing. The frustration must have been just unbearable. But then, one fine day, while Jignasu was quietly sweeping, out of absolutely nowhere, the master lunges from behind and attacks him. As you'd expect, Jignasu is totally startled, knocked down, completely confused, and probably terrified. But right then and there, the master makes his new reality crystal clear. He's going to attack Jignasu at any time, anywhere, without a single warning. From that moment on, Jignasu's life transforms into this state of intense, constant, paranoid vigilance. He wasn't just adapting to a new routine, he was fundamentally rewiring his entire nervous system. Sure, at first there were clumsy fumbles. He'd get hit while carrying water. But forced by the very real threat of a physical strike, his brain started to shift. He had to become acutely present in every single second of his day, even while just holding a broom. Slowly, he began sensing the shifts in the air, the slight rustle of robes. He started anticipating the master's strikes before they even launched, until eventually he could effortlessly ward them off and stop the master completely without even looking. And once Jignasu proved he had locked into this unwavering, omnipresent awareness, consistently anticipating and blocking every single surprise attack without fail, Master Chinmaya finally lowers his weapon, looks right at his student, and delivers the words Jignasu has waited years to hear. Now we are ready to learn the art of swords fighting. So, why now? What actually changed in that exact moment? Why on earth did this revered grandmaster wait 2 grueling years, forcing a passionate student to do literally nothing but sweep floors and look over his shoulder before he even allowed him to hold a weapon? Section 3. Awakening Sakshi Prajna, Witness Consciousness. Well, the answer to the master's seemingly cruel methods lies entirely in the invisible mental training Jignasu was undergoing that whole time. He was developing a state known as Sakshi Pragya, which translates to witness consciousness. And this isn't just about paying attention, it's this profound ability to deeply observe your environment and your own internal thoughts without reacting impulsively. By performing intensely boring chores for years, Jignasu was stripping away his ego's need for constant entertainment. By surviving the random attacks, he honed an unbreakable, hyper-focused presence. He wasn't just doing chores, he was heavily investing in his mental foundation. He was building the capacity to witness reality exactly as it is. It took years of agonizing patience, but because he built this unshakable cognitive architecture first, Jignasu ultimately became one of the most adept swordsmen of his era. The sword was just a tool, his mind was the actual weapon. Section 4. The Modern Distraction Trap. The Mind Today. Now, it's an incredible story of discipline, but you're probably thinking, okay, but I don't really need to worry about a grandmaster ambushing me with a bamboo sword while I'm doing the laundry. Fair enough. But the exact same biological and psychological mechanisms are at play in our modern lives right now. Today, we live in an ecosystem meticulously engineered for instant gratification. Our baseline has become this frantic, shallow energy driven by constant dopamine hits. We are biologically wired to chase the next like, the next text, the next quick laugh. But the sources highlight that to forge any kind of deeper purpose or mastery, we have to deliberately transform this baseline. We have to transition away from that cheap, fleeting rush of dopamine and move toward delayed gratification. This is how we access our serotonin networks. Those are the neurochemical pathways associated with deep fulfillment, long-term purpose, and calm, sustained focus. Just like Jignasu had to overcome the desire for immediate combat training, we have to overcome our craving for immediate digital stimulation. Because the reality is, the ambush attacks we face today are far more frequent and honestly far more insidious than a physical sword strike. Our surprise attacks are the ping of an urgent email, the buzz of a breaking news notification, the infinite frictionless scroll of social media feeds. Each one is a direct attack on our focus and our peace of mind. Defending ourselves against these modern ambushes doesn't require physical agility. It requires the exact same grueling, deliberate practice and heavy mental investment that Jignasu endured. Controlling the mind in the face of a smartphone requires the exact same witness consciousness as dodging a master's blade. Section 5. A life well lived. The ultimate reward. So whether you're dodging a literal sword or a targeted ad, the ultimate goal of mastering your own consciousness remains entirely unchanged. And as the source material deeply emphasizes, there are absolutely no shortcuts here. You cannot life hack your way to deep awareness. Downloading another productivity app isn't going to magically give you witness consciousness. Sphatika.Cloud's core philosophy centers on the reality that rewiring your brain requires deliberate, conscious, and often uncomfortable effort. It means actively doing the boring work. It means committing to that heavy mental investment to cultivate your own Sakshi Pragya. The invitation here is to stop running from the mundane and start using it as your training ground. Because the ultimate reward for this discipline isn't just having better focus, it's the profound fulfillment of a life well lived. I'm going to leave you with this final thought to really consider. If developing a master's awareness truly means embracing the boring, what modern instant gratification distractions are you willing to give up to truly witness your own life? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and until next time, keep learning.